My name is Earl.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Courageous Nerd channel. If you're going to enjoy this video, please be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with Courageous Nerd content. I have recently started binge watching this great series called My Name Is Earl, and have been really enjoying it. For anyone unfamiliar with the premise of this sitcom, the show follows a former criminal named Earl Hickey, who after discovering the concept of karma, decides to write up a list of all the bad things he's ever done and make up for all of them one by one. It doesn't hurt that he'd also just won the lottery and can afford to fund this endeavour. Having now finished watching season 1, I decided to make this review to share my thoughts on the show so far, what I've been enjoying and what I hope to see as I continue with my binge watching. On a cool note, I recently discovered My Name Is Earl was one of my late uncle's favourite shows, while he died 14 years ago. It's a nice feeling to be enjoying something that he liked so much. For the purposes of this review, we'll be looking at 3 key areas: the premise, acting and writing. Starting with the premise, which I outlined a few moments ago, no one can deny its quirkiness. In fact, that quirkiness seeps into the show's humour and ingenuity, which in my opinion makes My Name Is Earl stand out from pretty much any other show. In basic storytelling, a protagonist goes through some kind of change or transformation to reach the end of the story. That's exactly what we see with Earl. Each episode and marking something off the list takes him towards his goal of becoming a better person. I've also really enjoyed each of the regulars of My Name Is Earl, as they are such a mismatched oddball group. I mean, aside from Earl and his brother Randy, you have conniving, heartless ex-wife Joy, Earl's friend and Joy's new husband, as we see later in the season, Darnell, aka Crabman, who is still somehow Earl's buddy despite the affair with his wife. As well as this, we have Catalina, the maid of the motel Earl and Randy now call home, who is an illegal immigrant with a pole dancing background. There's the fact that in a different show, this group may have been presented as people to avoid or been looked down upon, so it's a refreshing take to see their perspectives as main characters despite all of them being involved in criminal activity at one point or another. Moving on to the acting, I cannot fault the casting at all. Earl was probably the most important character to get right, and Jason Lee is perfect in the role. Of course, Lee was already well known for his film work before doing this show, so it makes sense to have an established actor tackle such a key character in this story. Lee has good chemistry with all the other regulars and believably conveys Earl's desire to be a better person, which could have come off as insincere with another actor. Similarly, Ethan Suplee is perfect for Randy, particularly as the character becomes more childlike and innocent as the season progresses. Lee and Suplee have good brotherly chemistry, which makes sense as they had already known each other and worked together prior to the show. Jamie Presley's performance as Joy is a highlight of the whole series. I know she won an Emmy at some point for her role, and that comes as no surprise. To play someone so unashamedly self-centered must have been such a release and a lot of fun. Joy also has an interesting arc, going from leaving Earl while he's in hospital, wanting to kill him for his lottery winnings, then towards the end of the season, we see her softer side as she finally tells Earl about the night they got together and her involvement in it, and she owns up to her own mistakes rather than let Earl take the fall. Going off season 1, Crabman and Catalina seem to serve a relatively similar purpose by adding some more humour when they're in scenes with Earl, Joy and Randy for instance. They're fairly smaller parts in the overall story, but have their moments of expansion, for example like the apparent reveal of Crabman being the witness protection program. That'd be a cool angle to explore in more detail further down the line, but overall I'd like to see more of these two characters in future episodes and future seasons. Meanwhile, the season 1 guest cast is also stacked. Plenty of people who are well known at the time, as well as a few more who became recognisable faces since their appearance on My Name Is Earl. Some examples include Shailene Woodley, Jon Favreau, Beau Bridges, Tiffany Haddish, Giovanni Ribisi, Johnny Galecki, Christine Taylor, Mike O'Malley, Timothy Oliphant, Silas Weir Mitchell, Blake Clark, Brett Butler, Chloe Grace Moretz, Missy Pyle, Dax Shepard, and Carson Daly, to name a few. Even John DiMaggio, the voice of Bender on Futurama, makes an appearance as a cop. As for the writing, I found it to be consistently funny and sharp. Other than a few occasional outdated references like the Yellow Pages or the internet being some obscure thing, I can easily forget I'm watching something that's almost 2 decades old. That's actually really insane to say, as I feel like the show's humour still works and is still funny, despite the amount of time that has passed since the episodes were originally on TV. From watching season 1, I feel like creator Greg Garcia came into this with a clear idea of what he wanted to do, and in my opinion he pulled it off brilliantly. I've been really impressed with My Name Is Earl so far, and I look forward to what's to come in season 2 and beyond. Many thanks again for checking out this video, and until the next one, goodbye.